Hello and welcome to Center Circle. I am Jermaine Brown. With football taking a nosedive in St. James, someone was needed to rescue it from the depths of despair. And in came businessman Yoni Epstein. Epstein is the chairman of Montego Bay United, and since entering the fray, the turnstiles have not been the same. As dire as football may look in the parish of St. James, there is still someone trying to make a difference. When Orville Powell decided to take a break from the sport, Montego Bay United needed someone to take it forward, and Yoni Epstein was the man to do so.
I think the effects have been extremely positive, right? The first thing I would say is the first match that we hosted as the new regime had about 400 people come to the match, and today we're seeing crowds of over 1,500 people consistently come to an MBU match. So, you know, when getting in and understanding the club and the history of the club, and you're going back to the SEBA days and you understand the support, the loyalty, and the level of fans that are out there, you know, all they wanted to see is investment into players, investment into the right aspects of the club for them to come back out and spend their own hard-earned money to come and support their team.
No stranger to football, as a former player himself, Epstein explains his reason for taking up the responsibility of moving the club forward. But he was quick to point out that one club cannot carry football in the parish.
No, I mean, I think competition is great, right? I think the issue, as we were saying, that has happened over the years is just the financial support, which is why you've seen so many other clubs drop out of the Premier League, end up in the second division, third division, or maybe not even operating anymore. You know, there are so many kids, I think, in Western Jamaica that it could be spread amongst multiple clubs, right? And that then now means you have to have the right people doing scouting for you and making sure they're going to the high school games, they're going to the prep school games, they're watching kids from a young age to determine how they're going to rally them into the respective clubs. It just so happens that, you know, MBU is the only one in the Premier League right now, and we have a duty to ensure that we raise that bar and that profile to bring Western Jamaica back to the top and sustainably at the top of football in Jamaica.
In the 20 odd years living in the parish, you'd have seen and experienced where this football was. Looking at it now, if you can identify, put your finger on something, what resulted in where the football is now, what would that be?
I think it's definitely the lack of youth development. It became very disjointed and not very focused, and focused solely on Premier League football. When I look at, you know, my son, and we've started taking him over to Spain and working with Barcelona and a few other clubs, I said to myself, you know, he's talented, but he has me and his mother to support him. Whereas there's a lot of talent in Jamaica, but they don't have that ability. So I kept saying to myself, well, how do we harness that and bring those eyes to Jamaica and harness, and then give them the opportunity to leave our shores and become professional footballers. More research and information that I did, being an entrepreneur and a businessman, I said, well, where's the money aspect to it? Where's the business side of it? Because it can't just be about, you know, going to a company and saying, tap into your social responsibility budget. No, I want the marketing budget, because those are much bigger. So that's when I went and understood that the real way to do it, you can either be an agent or you can own a football club. And obviously, watching English Premier League, football is one of the biggest businesses in the world. So I said, well, how do we get into a club? Some guys from Kingston were asking me, you know, come and chair our club and help us and so on. They're in the Premier League as well too. And then the opportunity from Montego Bay United became real. And I said, why am I going to spend my time going to Kingston when I live in Montego Bay and we're the only Premier League team in the West? this is the right choice, and that's why we ended up choosing Montego Bay.
Under the leadership of Epstein, Montego Bay United have started to see some brighter days. But the chairman says the chips are just starting to fall into place.
I think the final touch has been put in place, but it's going to take time to see it. And I'll tell you, when the decision that we made several weeks ago to change our coaching staff, bringing Tigat back in does a lot for the players and a lot for the community, right? He is hailed as one of Jamaica's greatest strikers. And he has won the league as a player and he's won the league as a coach. There are very few that can say that. And the level of respect that the players have for him and his style of play and approach to football currently is going to help the team. And I could say, you're seeing it already. What we had to achieve in the very beginning is how do we convince players that used to play or want to play for Montego Bay that this is the right place to be, which I think we've overcome that relatively quickly. So people want to play for Mobe. People look at it and they aspire to play for the badge yet again, and that's what we wanted to achieve in the short term. But I think putting together that technical team for the longer term is the icing on the cake that you won't see it this season. You may not see it next season, but you'll see it by the season after.
I think it's also deliberate on your part as well to give it that Seba look, that red and green.
I'll give you a joke about that. Last season, the home kit was the green and blue, and the away kit was the red and green. And we had a match at West Pow, and for some reason they wore the red and green that day. I don't know if the blue and green was clashing with the other team's away jersey, but we decided to wear the red and green. And I could hear, you see the new man, them know the thing, them know the Seba thing. I never really got it at the time. So I went to Bruce Gaynor and I said, Bruce, what is this all about? He said, you don't know, the red and green are the Seba colors, So we went into the boardroom and we said, from this moment forward, every home match, we're wearing the red and green, and every away match, we're wearing the green and blue. And it just changed people's mindset. So when we went to design this year's kit, we said we want to go hardcore back after a Seba-like kit for the season.
You're not planning to change the name to revert to Seba United?
No, because I tell you why. Montego Bay is the biggest brand in the Jamaica Premier League. Montego Bay is the only team that is named after its city. Montego Bay is the main airport for tourists in Jamaica. So you ask any foreigner, where is Montego Bay or what is MBJ as the airport code is, they know it. So to me, it is the biggest brand in football. You never change the name, but there are certain things that you can keep to keep the Seba history alive.
Former national player Paul Tigat Davis believes there are more people like Epstein in St. James, but he says someone needs to approach them with an idea of why they should get involved.
It can't be that these business people come in Montego Bay and just weeping and watching the football go down and even seeing the violence and feel like they're not part of it. They're the biggest part because there's solution. Things can be solved. They should put out, and again, we as the presidents or the FA, they have to go all out. They have to commit themselves. What are we doing wrong? Get people with the knowledge of the football. I hear people say, and sometimes it's true. Yeah, some people run the football who never play football or they have no idea about the football. They're running certain things. Get the people them who've been through it, who have somebody know how, and sit with them, find alliance with them and so we can get the thing going.
And it's the work that Epstein has been doing why someone like Adrian Frater believes he's the right man to run football in the parish.
You cannot question his interest because there have been many business people before him who walked past football and didn't do anything. And he's here putting his time and his money into the football. So I wish he would just go all the way. I would love to see a man like him running St. James football because he enjoys the respect of the Montego Bay community and the wider Western Jamaica. So a man like him would be ideal to run St. James football. And I hope it is something that he will consider. Seeing what he's doing at Montego Bay United, it pleased my heart because I've been waiting that for a long time. Harville Powell pretty much walked away out of frustration. You know what I mean? The kind of support structure that's supposed to drive the football, he was not getting that. But I believe Mr. Epstein, based on his business acumen and the respect that he enjoys in Montego Bay, he's probably the ideal man to walk in and to just take over St. James football and drive it.
But Epstein is not moving that quickly. He's giving the FA president, Gregory Daly, his support.
Gregory is the president of the FA. We've had, multiple discussions with him and his team on football. I think that, everybody can always do better, but I would definitely not say that there's a lack of leadership. I mean, Gregory is also a vice president at the JFF level. So he's very tapped in and in tune as to what is going on. Now, I think is where the leadership is needed is the development of the youth. If you start here and you focus on the next generation, we will create generations after generations of professional footballers.
And fan support has been getting better, with the joy of turning up on match day finally coming back.
Well, I am a fan of football, a former player, and there's no other side but MBU.
What do you find interesting about them though, coming to matches?
Coming to matches, coming from years where we have been losing and seeing the improvement now, it is a very wonderful feeling.
You come to Montego Bay United game, but you're wearing a Liverpool shirt.
Yeah, it's my team, it's my international team, but red represent, Montego Bay United same way, so that's why I always wear red. But it happens to be the team that I support internationally.
Okay, so you're not in Montego Bay, you're from Hanover, and you come this far to support Montego Bay United because, in truth and in fact, it's the only team in this part of the country that's really carrying the West in Premier League football.
Well, Carl, I'm from both parish because I live in Hanover and I work in St. James. And Montego Bay United is the only team in the West currently in the Premier League. So we have to put our all behind the one team.
Why is it that you really come out to support this team?
I mean, I live in Montego Bay and this team is the only team playing in the Premier League, so that's why I'm here to support.
And you feel happy when you come and support this team?
Yes, it's nice, the vibe nice, people are here, it's really amazing.
Are you a Montego Bay United fan or just a football fan?
Of course. Yes, I am.
What drives you to come here on a match day to see your team play?
Because I'm from Montego Bay and my boss is a part of the team that's Peanut. I'm a social butterfly girl, so that's why I'm here. I'm here to support them.
Do you enjoy the matches though?
I do, actually. Hi!
When we return, there is a call for Yoni Epstein to broaden his horizon in the parish of St. James.